again. Of course, Paul J. created new material, and the class was a smashing success. Over the following summer, Paul S. offered to help Paul J. with his security analysis class and became his teaching assistant in the fall of 1995. Then, in the spring of 1996, Paul S. became an adjunct professor and taught at Columbia Business School for the next 16 years, eventually teaching over 450 students. As of the writing of this book, Paul J. has been an adjunct professor for 25 years and has taught over 40 investment courses to more than 2,000 students. For Paul S., the journey to writing this book began when he started working as a research analyst for legendary micro-cap value investor Chuck Royce after graduating in May 1995. On his first day at work, he found out abruptly that he was not adequately prepared for the job. While he felt that he had a pretty good handle on the mechanics of the research process, he was unequipped to present the information in a way that would persuade a portfolio manager to follow his recommendation. He quickly discovered that many of his classmates were in a similar position. Paul S. remembers a call from one of his former classmates who told him, "It's my first day on the job, and my boss came over to say hello and see how I was settling in. Then threw an annual report on my desk, said, 'Tell me what you think,' leaving before I had a chance to ask him anything. What do I do now?" To address that deficiency, when Paul S. taught his first class, Advanced Seminar in Fundamental Research Techniques, in the spring of 1996, his goal was to teach students the essential skills they would need to do their job as a securities analyst. He told his students on the first day of class, "You go to Apex Technical School to learn how to weld. This class will teach you how to be a research analyst. It's a vocational class that will teach you how to do the job." Paul structured his lectures originally to teach fundamental research techniques, with the course culminating in a final project where each student gave a 20-minute presentation on a stock they had worked on during the term. The presentations were painfully boring, and to Paul, who was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder at the age of 5, the experience of sitting through them was simply unbearable. Because of his impatience, he interrupted students after a minute or two into their presentation and started peppering them with questions. As a result of this experience, Paul completely inverted the structure of the course. The final project remained a presentation, but research was now performed to support the pitch, not the other way around. Paul figured that if the students could support and defend their pitch, then it indicated that they had done an appropriate amount of research. This exercise cemented Paul's belief that the pitch is the backbone of any good investment recommendation. There was a parallel influence for Paul structuring his class this way. In the fall of 1995, Paul audited Pat Duff's Advanced Security Analysis course, in which students were assigned an industry and required to pitch stocks from that industry to guest portfolio managers Duff invited to class. These portfolio managers, like legendary investor Dick Gilder, would mercilessly punch holes in the students' presentations. Paul adopted this structure in his security analysis class the next time he taught the course. Then, in the spring of 1999, Paul conceived the idea of melding Duff's class with Bruce Greenwald's value investing class to create a new course, which he titled Advanced Seminar in Applied Value Investing, and then taught for the next 13 years. The new course focused on having the students pitch investment ideas with a value discipline. Applied value investing is one of the most popular courses at Columbia Business School, with multiple sections taught each semester. Paul J.'s journey was different. Paul became an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School in the fall of 1992 on the recommendation of Charlie Wolf, with whom Paul worked at Credit Suisse First Boston. Charlie had been a tenured professor at Columbia since 1966, teaching courses on debt markets and credit instruments. Roger Murray, who began teaching security analysis at Columbia when Benjamin Graham retired in 1956, had himself retired in 1978. After several